But Rob, let's go to the NBA. Speaking of Mark Medina, Ben Simmons went on the JJ Redick podcast, Old Man and the Three, and good for Ben. We really haven't heard anything from him since he's been, in a long time. Besides like little tidbits here and there, he really hasn't spoken much. So glad that he could get out there and speak. I guess that's a good sign. I thought it was a good sign that he went to Philadelphia, even though he didn't play last year, but he never played last year. So we'll see. You don't know how to read this thing, but he said a few things. And Rob said the Sixers didn't give him any help. Here he is.
I'm already dealing with a lot mentally just in life, as a lot of people do. But it got to a point where after that series, I'm getting it's like from the people that you're supposed to have the support from or that, that comfort from. And I wasn't getting that either. So it was just a lot. It was a toll on me. And then mentally, it killed me. I was like no energy for anything. Like I was in a dark place. I think that first thing of acknowledging it is like a huge step for me. And I was like, okay, like I need to address this. I need help in these areas. And being able to do that, that was the start of, getting to where I'm at now. I'm like in a great place and I feel comfortable talking about it now. But those are some dark days for me. Everyone goes through different struggles, some bigger than others, but yeah, it's everyone, has their own battles. And I think that was tough for me, just knowing like I didn't really have that support either from teammates or whatever it was at that time.
No, call it like it is. Let's call it like it is.
Yeah,
and you know that I love Joel and you know that I love Doc, but like they essentially threw you under the bus after Game 7. Like that's indisputable.
Yeah.
All right. So it sounded like Rob, when he said that series, he was clearly talking about that Atlanta series 2 years ago when he was horrible. Let's just call it like it was. Wouldn't shoot the ball, gave up a layup in a critical moment. And after the series, Doc Rivers, I don't think I'm gonna go as far as to say Doc Rivers threw him under the bus. And Rob, I like Doc, and we've called Doc like we see it, right? When he's been worthy of criticism, we have done it, and a lot in the media don't, right? A lot of guys in the media, Doc is a great politician, and he's a great guy, but he's a great politician as well. And so a lot of media members don't say anything about it. We've said, look, Doc didn't do a good job here.
Period.
All right, Doc deserved to get fired, or Doc, come on.
Stop
Doc underachieved.
Even what JJ Redick just said, Chris, and this is so typical. He goes, I like Doc and I like Joel. You don't have to say all that. This is not about like they always got to soft soak it. Like just call it like it is. If you know something, say it.
He said Doc threw him under the bus.
And he did.
We had said it all year long. Doc had
bent over backwards.
Yes, even to the point of looking foolish.
We were like, this is ridiculous. And then even throwing him under the bus, do you think you can win? I'm not sure. Whatever. What was the exact word? He didn't say.
That was basically it.
I'm not sure now. I'm just not, or whatever. My God, he didn't go, there's no way we can win with that guy. He's a cancer. We got to get him off the squad. If this guy can make this guy can make a basket, we would have won.
Right. If he had said point blank, we win this series if Ben Simmons shoots the basketball.
Right.
Period. Like that's throwing him under the bus. He didn't throw him under the bus. But Rob, Ben Simmons he basically just said the way that I guess some of his teammates, Joel Embiid, Doc Rivers, coach, and the fans responded to him playing poorly, sent him into this dark place where he couldn't play basketball for the next year. That's not a good sign to me.
No, I'm with you.
Unless you're going to be Michael Jordan the rest of your career and there's not going to be any negative talk about you. And I'm talking about Jordan once he started winning championships. Because, Rob, we both know there was negative talk about
Big
Jordan.
Big time, Chris. And I covered the NBA during that time. It was not all love and roses for Michael Jordan early on in his career. They said he's a great player, but I don't know if he makes his teammates better. I don't know if he'll ever win. There were all those question marks.
And Larry, they make you win.
There were nothing but question marks. So the idea that it was all, strawberries and flowers. It just wasn't. And
what if you hit a rough patch with the Nets?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like I'm glad that he can have a conversation about it.
That might be
Chris,
progress.
I think there's some progress there because I'm listening to him, and everybody's different. We're not all the same. Everybody reacts differently. So it sounds like he needed help. It sounds like it.
I do think though, and hopefully he got the help he needed, and he improved and has gotten to a place mentally where he can go out there and play regardless of the situation. If the fans are, even if your home fans are booing you, if Kyrie yells at you, Kyrie shrugs his shoulders because you wouldn't take a shot, Kevin Durant yells, you got to be able to play through all of that. And Rob, we say it all the time. Jobs are different. You mentioned people are different. Jobs are different.
Yep.
You and I both were not only journalists, but we were beat writers.
We covered a team day in and day out.
Yes. You got to be there every day. You traveled to all the games, and you had to write stories fast. You had to write stories during the game. Send it into your desk as soon as the game was over for the paper to put it in the newspaper, the early editions. And then you had about 45 minutes to an hour to go get quotes and rewrite the story. And Rob, we covered the NBA Finals. There were times where you had to have two stories going at once.
One winning and one losing. Right. You had to have both ready because of the deadlines. There was no time to sit there and write a story, after the game's over.
Take all night.
Right.
It wasn't like the internet days. Right. And Rob, you know this as well as I do. There were some people that just couldn't hack it. They were great writers or reporters. They had other skills, but the deadline pressure was too much.
Couldn't do it.
Or the moment, like, oh my God, this is a huge game, and they froze. Well, you know what? Nothing against you. This job isn't for you. And my point is, if Ben Simmons can't play under the duress of negative backlash from the fans, negative backlash from his coach or his teammates, then there's a problem, dude. And it's not everybody else. You've got to get over that if you want to play. Royce White, really nice player at Iowa State, Rob. Mm-hmm. Drafted by the Rockets, I believe. Wouldn't fly.
Right. He's not an NBA player. There's no way around it. Exactly. You like that has to be one of those things where he couldn't shake it, Chris, and you're right. That's the only way you could get around. You can't take a bus.
Right.
John Madden got away with it, Chris, because it's weekly.
Absolutely.
A weekly game.
Right. That's a big difference.
It's a huge difference. And it's only back then 16 weekends a year where they take a bus trip.
And Rob Royce wanted to blame the NBA. It's like, dude.
Blame the NBA how?
You can't blame the NBA. You're playing 4 games in 5 nights at that time.
It's impossible.
Like, right. So I hope Ben is a really good player. He won't shoot jumpers. Now, I don't know. Maybe that'll change going forward. And that's a problem. But otherwise, I mean, he's got great court vision, great in transition, great defensive player, can score actually. Doesn't shoot outside jumpers, but actually can score around the basket. And he will really help the Nets, Rob, if he's in the right place mentally. And I hope he'll get there. But a lot of the overcoming this is looking in the mirror.
He's so young and has his whole career ahead of him, Chris. Like he needs. It's not like he's at the end. I mean, but he has to get it together because the longer you go, I think the harder it'll be to shake this. And you're right. You got to deal with some disappointment. Everybody's not going to be on your team. I think what Doc Rivers said was minuscule compared to the moment and what he like even and this is what we talk about, Chris, all the time. Great to have JJ Redick getting him and having him talk.
Right.
But whereas, like, dude, you didn't play well.
Right.
You know, like,
do you really think Doc did that? Really, what bothered you about what Doc said?
What Doc said, because there was a layup right there at the basket. You're 7 foot tall almost, and you didn't shoot it. Like that.
Did he ask him why didn't he shoot? And I haven't listened to.
No, I don't know. But I'm just saying, even at that moment. But at that moment, Chris, where they were talking about that, there could have been a follow-up. Do you know what I'm right? And said, well, you know, they threw you under the bus or whatever after that game. But he could have said, dude, why didn't you shoot? Right. Why are you not shooting? Look at your numbers in the fourth quarter in the series. You disappear. Why?
Yep. How about, Ben, we see you in the offseason. There's these videos that come out where you're shooting jumpers and you're sinking them. What happened? Why not in the NBA games? You know, like all of that stuff you could ask him. And you're right. You tend not to get that stuff from players. It's great that JJ got him.
No, great.
He didn't go talk to traditional media. Okay,
which is fine.
But you're only getting kind of half of it. You're not really getting some of the questions answered that you want. So hopefully, look, I hope it works out for Ben Simmons. I'd love to see him really maximize his ability. But Rob, like I said, part of it's looking in the mirror. And sometimes you don't put the blame on everybody else. Even if everybody else is wrong, you ultimately still have to look in the mirror because people might not change.
No.
So are you just going to melt because they didn't change? Or are you going to be like, forget them, whatever they do, I've overcome this and I'm marching through. That's what the Ben Simmons mindset has to be.